Good afternoon. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Meeting of the Escambia County Tourist Development Council. Was this meeting properly advertised? Yes. Chairman. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Tina. We'll take public comments. This is the time, if anyone has anything they'd like to discuss, they can come forward and speak. All right, seeing none, we'll move on. So next item of business is to approve of prior Tourist Development Council meeting minutes from the October 12th meeting. They were posted online. Everybody should have had a copy. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
So we have a motion from Ronnie and a second from Shirley. Is there any discussion or changes? Call for the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Mr. Chairman, if I just want to say I like the layout of the minutes. I feel it's a little bit more, it expands a little bit more than what we usually see in a minutes. So I just wanted to recognize the positive effort there.
Thank you, Tina. That's all Tina. I had nothing to do with it, but thank you. All right, so next item of business is the status of funds available. Clerk of the Court. Mike, thank you.
How are you guys doing?
Hey, well,
Merry Christmas and
Merry
Happy Holidays to you guys. And let's see. Oh, okay, so I will start with the status funds. So
so is Jim.
Okay. So for the total for FY21, we had a total of $17,671 and $671,461. That was a record-breaking year. If you compared it 1 through 4 cents, it would have been a 45% increase over 2020 and an 81% increase over if you included the 5th cent. And that was mostly because of COVID and the timing with April, May being so low, so it just skyrocketed. As of this morning, we have a total of $1,487,000 for the month of November, which is only a little bit higher than what you saw as of November 29th when these reports were ran. And as of this morning, we've collected $257,000, $330 for December. So our total collections for 2022 is $3.1 million, and for FY21, as of would have been year to date, we would have a little over $2 million. Which is still back-to-back record-breaking months for October and November, and a 26% increase over FY21, and when you compare 1 to 4 cents, and a 58% increase if you compare the 5th cent. So it's consistently increasing, and we're doing great with our collections. Besides that, we really haven't had too much activity for the expenditure side because we're only 2 months in at this point. So there hasn't really been very much activity. We had the advance go out to visit Pensacola for $2 million, and the first 2 transfers for the base centers monthly allocation.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mike? I do have a question on this packet that you sent.
Yep.
On the last page, the adopted budget fiscal year 2022.
Yep. So I know exactly where you're going with that.
Okay.
Navy, is my assumption what you're going to talk about being 200,000?
No.
Nope.
No, but that is we can address that too.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and do that. No, what I was going to ask is under the revenue side, the level of collections, you're showing 14,606,250 with a reserve fund balance 2,404,202. So the statutory holdback at 5% is calculated based off of what? Because it's not 5% of 14,606. It's not the combination of the 14,606 and 2,404.
It most likely is just a Excel error.
This budget actually comes from Escambia County OMB.
This sheet
Our office
does?
doesn't produce it, so when they give it to us, it's exactly what they passed at the commission and how they calculated it. We bring it forward to you because they do not, and they ultimately made an adjustment on the 200,000 for the museum. I think it was based on 100,000 was going to go back to Visit Pensacola to advertise, but then we didn't see an increase or a change in the MAA, which is their agreement that they signed. So what you get right now is sort of the status of what they passed. It doesn't mean it stays this way because they do adjustments throughout their time when they take into account any budget amendments or carry forwards. We've seen a few of them already go through. So it's a point in time.
David, I have an answer for you if you want to know how we got to the number.
Oh, yes.
If you add the 768 back into the 14 million and take 5%, then that equals 768. So,
That's the 5%.
yeah, it seems like it's not necessarily revenue, but more of like what's able to be expended plus reserves. So,
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So the total 5% holdback, statutory holdback is a requirement of total collections. It's already been taken out of that 14. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you want to address
Yeah,
Madam Clerk, just address the two.
yeah, I was going to say the MMA showed the 100 versus the 200, so that adjustment will be made.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Okay, so next item of business is section 5, other business. We have, first subtopic under that is the Five Flags Speedway request. At our last TDC meeting, y'all recall that it came up as a discussion item under public forum, and we could not take any action. So we now have it as an agenda item. Is Tim here, or is anyone here to speak on behalf? Oh, yes, that's all right, thank you.
hey, David, I might just ask Tina to clarify, make sure that is the right, because it does seem like it's being taken out twice.
Yeah.
So let's, thank you.
So before we get, you can come on up, but, so Tina, on that last page, if you'll verify, so the 5% holdback here is supposed to be taken out of the total of the collections, but it looks like it's being taken out twice. So if it's not, if it's already been removed from the 14 million, and we're subtracting it again to come up with this other number. So if you could check with OMB, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, please, thank you.
Okay. I don't have any big updates as of right now. The letter of intent has been signed with the SRX series, so everything looks good. They're working through insurance things and all that, a bunch of different stuff at this point. I do know that we've heard that it's a go. So waiting on the contract, as soon as that's all put together, we'll sign that, and I'll have a further update at that time, I think.
Okay.
And I actually, we didn't even realize we were on the agenda today until shortly before the meeting. So
Sorry.
sorry.
I apologize.
Oh, no big deal.
Glad
No big deal.
glad you came.
Okay, good deal.
So the request is the $55,000. That's,
Right, and that's going to be 50% of the sanctioning fee. There'll be a lot more cost involved in that, but that was The only thing we wanted to ask for is half the sanctioning fee on that.
Okay,
It's a $110,000 sanctioning fee.
all right. Any comments or questions from the group?
I do, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little confused. Did this go to the Board of County Commissioners?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then-
It's been to the board. Not that, I was a little confused actually myself today because
Okay.
I didn't realize it was going to be on.
Was it approved at that meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
We're
why do
done.
we-
Thank you for showing up.
Congratulations.
So
So why are we
I
back
wasn't
here?
aware.
Okay,
After the last meeting, when we couldn't take any action, I asked Tina to remind me to put it on the agenda for this meeting, and I was unaware that the county.
Good deal. I'm glad I panicked a little bit because I
Yes.
didn't know exactly what was going on. Okay,
Well,
good deal.
thank you.
All right, thanks.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, though, just to make it clean on our end, maybe we just go ahead and
Yeah.
do a motion in
taken.
support of.
So I'll entertain a motion to support it.
I second that motion.
So we have a motion from Mr. Reeves and a second from Mr. Rivera. Any discussion? Call for the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? So moved. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good.
Next item on the agenda is Gulf Coast Jazz Festival. Mr. Banks?
Good evening. How everybody doing?
Great.
Well, I'm here because the Board of County Commissioners told me to come here. I guess everybody know about the Gulf Coast Summerfest Jazz Edition that we have been doing. This year we had a pretty good year for us, economic impact, hotels. 94% of the people came from out of town, say they specifically came to attend the festival. And to let you know, I just did a little research with Ticketmaster because I was curious, how do we rate? So I'm proud to be able to announce that Ticketmaster now has us at 4.6 stars. You can only get 5 stars. We're being looked at as one of the top jazz festivals now in the country in a short period of time, and it's just going to only get much better. So basically, that's all I have to say. I mean, the Board of County Commissioners told me to come before the TDC. I kind of explained to them that y'all don't control the money, but I'm here.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Bender?
Okay.
Commissioner?
You all them like some.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So Kat, like, I think what we've said and what I've said the whole time is we just want to see where this goes. I know request is down from previous years of support.
Well, I took it down because based on what you
Sure.
said, I'm trying to make it work for the
No,
whole community.
I appreciate that. So, you know, I want to be supportive. I just want to also have a greater conversation about what the future holds so that hopefully we can work towards a better understanding going forward in years and not having to do this every year.
Right. And, and I'm going to have that discussion with Mr. Bear. We got to put some different ideas together probably to try to make that. Because if something happened to me, I don't want to see it go away. Somebody going to need to pick this thing up and keep it going. You have a great festival, one of the top festivals in the country. So I think we need to keep it. People are coming in here, they're leaving their tax dollars in this county. And I mean, I guess that's what all the TDC is all about, is just let's keep it going. I am so apologize.
That's for me. Please take a message.
That ain't for you. I'm finna cut it off. Hold on. That's my bad, Dave. Don't call me and chew me out. Okay. Hopefully I got it cut off. My phone, come on, Cadillac, golly. Just 1 minute. I just got this phone, so I'm old school. I got to figure out how to make it work.
It done flipped.
Send it up there. But basically, that's kind of, I mean, when I advertise the Jazz Festival, it's just not in Pensacola. I'm basically all over the country. We're in national news magazines. Our competitor, and they say I'm a competitor now against Panama City, this big Seabreeze Jazz Festival they have in April. But what people don't really know, we have a lot of people who go to Panama City and leave their tourism dollars down there in that county. But now that is changing. You know, they're looking at why go to Panama City, the prices are high, so why not stay here in your own backyard? So you keep your locals home. But we get people come in from the UK, come in from Germany, South Africa, and if you look at the back of this that I submitted, and you look at this lineup, one of these artists are from South Africa. You know, Jonathan Butler, we bringing in Bonnie James. So I bring in top of the line entertainment for Escambia County, the best of the best. I mean, if somebody else think they can do it better than me, I want to see it. But we worked this thing for a whole year. You know, we advertise it, we put it on TV, we put it in newspapers, and we sit and we run ads in Atlanta, you know, to get people come here. And they are loving this because we don't have strict rules when you attend the festival. And if none of you guys have ever been, I would invite you. You know, you need to see what your tourism dollars is doing. You need to come and see the festival for yourself. I mean, Jeff Begarston attended, Luma May have attended. I want Commissioner Bender to attend. I'm constantly preaching to y'all, come and see what you got. And once you come and see it, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a people thing. That's what this festival is. It's an experience. It's not just a concert. You know, it's great. And I'm not saying this because I'm producing it. I'm just telling you it is what it is. And you guys need to come check out what you got here.
What, how many years has this event been going on?
5.
And when do you usually have this event?
Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe somebody on this board can help me, but why does this festival come to us and not to Visit Pensacola or ACE like the other grants do?
Because the amount that's being requested is outside Visit Pensacola budget. I mean, if they changed their budget, at one time, there was no limitation. So once they set a stopping point, so let's take for the sake of argument, say you give me $25,000 and I spend all that $25,000 on advertising, but I got a budget for a festival that's $300,000. So to go to Visit Pensacola, I ain't taking nothing away from them. Maybe they're gonna change that protocol. But that's why I have to go to the county. The county say, come to TDC. TDC don't do it, then I go back to the county. So that's basically where I'm at. I got $131,000 hotel costs that come out of my pocket. It don't come from, please understand that TDC funds is not doing this whole festival. Let's get that out there. Your money do help.
That's a great question. Then what is the sustainability model that you have in place for that then?
Well, it all depends because we're still in the growing stages.
Okay.
So you got to look at it each year. For example, I don't know if you guys received one of these from the survey. So say it's 4 years. This year, we had $940,000 in economic impact. That is the highest, like in $60,000 of being $1 million that people dropped in this county. So the last 3 years, you didn't have these type of numbers. You know, you didn't have 94% of the people who come into Pensacola just coming to Pensacola specifically for that event. So those are the things. So over the period of time, this is going to either get greater or it's not going to do good. But the way it's going, it appears that this is going to be a great festival for the long run. I'm 66 years old. I can't run all day for 2 days. You know, I've been doing it, but hopefully I can get somebody else to step up to the plate so we can keep it.
Is there a reason why you do it on Labor Day and not a slower weekend?
Reason I do it on Labor Day, it makes sense to do it on Labor Day. The reason it makes sense, Labor Day is Monday. So when people traveling, so they're gonna travel here, they're gonna probably get here on a Friday. Okay, so they're gonna be here Friday, then they're gonna be here Saturday, and then they're gonna be here Sunday. Some stay until Tuesday. So it's more convenient to have people to come in during Labor Day if they are traveling long distance. Say if they gotta go back to work on Tuesdays. So if they got Monday to rest, they done party for 2 days, well, really 3 days, because I didn't tell you about the kickoff party we do at Corrine Jones. We do a major jazz kickoff party there for the people coming in so they have something to do on Friday. I don't want them in town and they lost, they don't know what to do. So we got a kickoff party that we do on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we do the festival at the Maritime Park outside. People have options. They're going to stay to Monday for Labor Day, or they're going to go travel back home so they can get ready to go to work Tuesday. So that's the reason that we do it on Labor Day. It's more attractive. It draws more. If I was doing it like on a Wednesday, you know, looking at it from a promoter standpoint of view, that day won't work. So you got to give people, you got to have it on a day where you know people going to be moving around. You know it's a holiday. They know they ain't got to do nothing Monday. So of course, it makes sense to travel from Atlanta to come down to Pensacola for the festival, or come from Houston. If I could show you, if I had a printout, I could show you a list where all these people coming from all over the country. I mean, it's totally unbelievable. But they are coming to Pensacola, Florida, because we have one of the best jazz festivals in the country. And there's a whole lot of jazz festivals going on Labor Day. We're not the only one doing it. So I don't have to worry about Panama City because theirs is in April. But I got Low Country Jazz Festival in South Carolina. I got another jazz festival in Atlanta, and they stopped doing it because of the festival in Pensacola. I talked to the promoter, said we're not going to do it anymore because it seemed like everybody coming to Pensacola, Florida. So that's where we at. That's why I do it on Labor Day.
How many tickets did we sell this past Labor Day for
I don't know,
you?
we did about 2,000, 2,500, maybe 3,000 tickets.
For the whole weekend?
Yeah, because what you want to do, you don't want to make your festival too expensive, because then, I mean, it started looking like greed. So, if you make tickets maybe $100 for 2 days, $125 for 2 days, most people look at that, that's a bargain deal. You know, my main job, let me be clear about it. My main job is to promote tourism. I understand the statute clearly from reading the Florida statute dealing with bed tax dollars and what that money can be spent on. So, say for the sake of argument, I was receiving bed tax dollars, and these bed tax dollars did not have no return on your investment. You wasn't putting no heads in beds, you wasn't doing anything. Then this boy should say, well, you know what, Mr. Banks? You ain't met your quota. There's no return on our investment. Well, under these circumstances here, you can't say that. Because if you look at the survey, it clearly shows you that you almost made $1 million for 2 days. So if we already at 940, where can we go with this? If over a 5-year period, we at $2.2 million, that ain't no pocket change. Not where I was born up at and came from. You understand? $2.2 million, boy, look at him. We can go to Dubai with that, you know? So, that's all I really got to say about it, because I've been arguing about trying to convince folks for the longest what you do have. And like Mr. Bender said, Commissioner Bender said, you know, that's why I lowered the number, because of him. You know, I'm not getting rich off this. Maybe some people think that. But I can honestly sit here and tell you, this thing gonna cost about $300-some-thousand. 90% of that money gonna come out of these pockets here from my wife's death, that I go in that pot and use that money to try to keep this festival going for Escambia County. I do that. That's what I do.
Is there a net profit on the festival?
Is there what, sir?
Is there a net profit on the festival?
Well, you make a couple $100,000, but it don't do you no good, because what you're doing, I'm not trying to make a whole lot of money. I'm trying to keep the festival going. It's going to get to a point where I would make some money off that festival.
Cadillac, talking to the mic, because we're being
There's going to
recorded.
be a time when there will be some money for Mr. Banks. There will be some money that I can make off this festival. But when you building a festival, it's like any other business. 5, 6, 7, 8 years it takes to really build a business. The festival itself is a business that need to be worked. You know, we put money in, I don't know if you're a hotel owner, you know, I know Nash and everybody else. We put people in them hotels. That's the whole object of it. It's really not about if I made $1 million. What it's about is what is the economic impact and the return on investment to Escambia County, Florida, because that's what this festival is all about. I mean, basically, that's really all I got to say about it, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bender? Commissioner Bender? I'm waiting on you. You got to talk to me. Come on, you can't sit there and don't say nothing. Okay, I'm gonna let it go.
No, I thought I'd
Anybody
said a
got-
few things, so, I thought I'd already said a few things, but.
Okay, you did.
No, and I mean, Cadillac, I want to say, I want to see this succeed, you know? I want to, you've definitely put in a lot of hard work for it. The question is where does it go in the future? And respectfully, you know, I think based on his question is, what do you get out of it? Yes, it takes a little bit to get built up, but if you get a payday on the end, that's fine. But in the meantime, you're asking for all this money from this board and from the county to help you get there. And I think that's where the question comes in.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Now, we can all agree, or we can all disagree. You know, we grown folks, so we can agree or disagree. This is my position. Say, Mr. Chairman, you own Budweiser. And I come to Budweiser and I say, Mr. Bear, could you loan me $500,000? You okay, Cadillac? Right? I take your $500,000 that you done gave me, and I come back a year later and say, here go your $1 million. Subtract that $500,000 from it, so you done doubled your money. The way I'm looking at this is maybe, I'm not a mathematician, and this is my argument. If I'm making money for the county, I think it's only fair that we put some back in it from the bed tax. I mean, $940,000 versus $150,000, that's a hell of a return. That's how I'm looking at it. If you want me to continue to do this festival and bring these people in here, throw something back at it so I can keep on bringing them in here. That's all I'm saying. You got $2.2 million.
Cadillac, I think for me,
I understand where you're going.
no, but hold on a second. When you say that you're dipping into the funds that you got from your wife's death, I don't want you to have to do that,
Well,
right? I mean, like, I don't want you to have to do that, but if you're having to do that, that might also tell you that it's not sustainable.
it is sustainable. The reason you do that, because you got to look at the longer picture.
Okay.
See, I don't look at short term. I will eventually get my money back if I keep on doing this festival.
So what is
So
the long
I-
term? So, again, ticket sales. I mean, I would have a pretty good idea on what my ticket sales were and how much you made off of ticket sales. And as the festival grows, it gets in popularity, the acts are more noteworthy and people want to come see them. It may mean that ticket price has to go up to help offset that additional cost.
But you can't just jump it up. You got
So what do tickets go for right now?
125. It's 125 for 2 days.
General admission?
Yeah. So say if I made it $200, then we're gonna be in trouble.
I'm not saying
so,
make it $200.
I mean, you made it. Maybe you make it 135 or 140 or something. But this is a thing that you have to eat gradually. When we started, the ticket sales for the 2 days festival was $75. That's what they were. Because when you start looking at what everybody else is charging, and if you overprice those tickets, then you got to think about the cost of the artist. Every year they go up like clockwork. Every year, especially coming up in 2022, all artist costs are going up. And I mean, it gets up there. Stage, lights, sound, backline, all this equipment costs for production keeps rising. So eventually I will have to raise the tickets. I just don't think right now would be the right time to raise it.
Okay, so if you sell 2,000 tickets at $125 a piece, that should be $250,000 in revenue.
That's right.
And you got.
Then you back out your costs. Back out the costs.
I understand. The cost is $300,000.
Yeah.
And you got an extra $150 from us, so that's $400,000 in revenue.
No,
So what happened to the other 100?
you ain't got 100. You ain't got that in revenue.
Well,
By the time you pay all your costs, this is what I'm saying projected to be for 2022, and it could be more. This is just a proposed projected that I'm giving you.
well,
So
what,
since
but don't you have what happened in 2021? I mean, don't you have what you brought in and how much you spent?
Visit Pensacola, the one who spent the money in 2021. I mean, I spent my part. They spent $150,000. They spent on artists and advertising. That was it.
So Cadillac, if, following what Commissioner Bender is asking, is if your event costs $300,000, those are your total costs,
Okay.
and your ticket sales bring in $250,000 in revenue, and you also got $150,000 from
But you count.
Visit Pensacola to cover.
You count all 2,000 tickets. You can't count that. You might have 100 and some tickets go for all these promotional tickets that go out.
So how many tickets did you
You might
sell?
give away 200 tickets.
How many tickets did you sell
Probably
at
about-
125?
I don't know. About maybe 2,000.
So 2,000 times, I mean, that's what we're talking
Yeah,
about. That's
yeah.
$250,000 plus the 150 that Visit Pensacola added to go towards the $300,000 in costs, there's an additional $100,000 at the bottom line. And so what is that? Obviously, this is your business, this is what you're doing, and you should deserve to get paid to do that. But coming back to the public dollars, is the government in business to continue to support private business? That, I guess, with the tourist development tax. And so while your event is making an economic impact on tourism and on the community, and it's a great return, it's basically a 6-for-1. If it's $900,000, you're getting, if I'm doing my math in my head right, 6-for-1 return on the public dollar. That's a great return, but it's for a for-profit business.
So the answer, so what I'm hearing from you, if William Banks Enterprise wasn't an Inc., and William Banks Enterprise was either a LLC or a 501c, that would change the playing field, apparently, from what I'm getting from what you're
I would see it
saying.
I would see if this festival was a tax-exempt, not-for-profit, and maybe you are the person, the promoter, and the not-for-profit is paying you a reasonable, fair market price to promote that festival, then it opens the festival up for specific grants. As an example, you're not eligible for an ACE grant right now because you're for-profit. But as a not-for-profit, you would be. And they have general operating grants. If it happened during Fufu Fest, there are Fufu grants. If it happened, if it's still small, the revenue's not there, it's a mini grant. So there's opportunities, at least certainly within the Escambia County Tourist Development Tax, at the unified budget for opportunities for grants to go towards that. Visit Pensacola could possibly, and that's up to their board and their administration on whether or not they wanted to also additionally help support it through advertising to cover your advertising with those dollars. And that could possibly come up to $100,000 at the end of the day that you're looking for, but you're asking as a for-profit versus a not-for-profit, and that model change could change everything. I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but that's one of the things I'm thinking about. And so I think your festival is good for our community. I've read the report. I've seen what it does economically for our community. It drives tourists, and it's diversifying the type of tourists that we're bringing in. And I'm a big proponent of diversifying our tourism base. And so, I would love to continue to fund this festival. I'd like to see it done under a different model. We're sort of at the 11th hour. I mean, you can't, ACE has already given out all its grants. I don't know what the other two organizations have already committed. But that's a whole other issue also, is the documents that we got are dated November 29th. The county does funding requests, accepts those back in the spring. So in April, May timeframe are the deadlines for those. But this wasn't done until then, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because you had anticipated going through Visit Pensacola, and maybe they've said no, and so they sent you to the county, and you put it together when you found out. I don't know. But I'd like to see this event continue. I mean, listening to the other comments, I'd like to see it with a sustainable model. I personally think a not-for-profit tax-exempt organization that has a board that can survive if you get, God forbid, get hit by a bus. I mean, if something were to happen to you and you couldn't do this anymore, it needs to sustain itself if it's good for our community. And so far, the economic impact study shows it is. So I'd like to see it under a different model. As far as this year is concerned, I want to see it happen. I'd like to see it happen. The TDC, we don't have the authority to grant money. We can make recommendations to, we can ask Visit Pensacola or the other groups if they're interested in doing it. We can ask the county, send it back as a recommendation to the county commission. But really, the authority we have here is limited to that.
I understand that. Well, the county sent me over here. I mean, they said come up here.
They said to come here.
Yeah, and I'll probably go back to them. I mean, so I know, and I try to explain that to them, that I already know you guys don't have the money.
Well, so in our proposed budget to the county for the use of the TDT, there, there's allocations to the outside agencies, to the Bay Center, et cetera, but there were some funds that went back to Escambia County that is a special projects fund. I would have to assume that's where they're finding the money to do the Five Flag Speedway. I don't know if that's where the money came from.
Those BCC projects, I moved that on the last agenda, where we're repainting the beach ball tower, doing a new casino beach pavilion, that roof needs to be replaced, some other pavilions, and the bathroom at Casino Beach.
So when are those projects actually going to happen?
We're taking them to bid now, so hopefully as soon as we can.
So, I mean, I don't anticipate you're going to paint the beach water tower ball starting in March.
No, but that's why I wanted to go ahead and get that moving, and hopefully we could get it done before then.
Has the RFP gone out yet?
I would have to check.
And the reason I'm asking is if it hasn't, then I can't imagine it's going to happen before season starts. And if that's something that we could defer, the county would be willing to defer 1 year to free up those funds to be able to do this 1 year, this last year, in this model. If Cadillac were open to that and the county was open to that, would that be an option?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll support whatever this board takes to the commission. I think, of course, we've already seen record numbers for the first 2 months. We could probably find something that where we could take it from. If it's not specifically BOCC projects or somewhere else.
So, I mean, that's what, because we don't know where it's going to end, so we've got record months now, but something could happen that changes that. So we do know that those funds were allocated, those, BCC projects. If the county could defer it, the beach ball painting another year, get it going and have it ready after Labor Day to free up funds to be able to fund this project, this festival this year and Labor Day, which would happen in this fiscal year.
But I think, sorry, Mr. Chairman, but I do think that needs to go with the caveat that this model needs to change and it needs to have some
that's where I was going.
sustainability. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
But it needs to have some sustainability when it comes back. And I think actually, once you create sort of a sustainable model through a 501(c), I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much this community gets involved with you. This is the givingest community in the country, bar none. And once individuals know that you have a passion in your heart to bring art to Escambia County, they will back you on this. I can assure you. But yes, I would say it needs to come with some sustainable caveats going forward.
Is that something you're willing to do?
Yes.
You can commit to that so that this time next year, if that model hasn't changed, you're not going to be requesting funds from the county?
No.
Again, I think the other thing is with public dollars, there's usually some openness about the books. I know that here it's saying that anticipated attendees 4,500, out of town attendees 4,000. At $100 a ticket, that's $400,000. Of course, again, we'd love to see you do that. We want it to be successful. So it's just, I think we need to, it would have been nice to see the accounting for the last festival.
Are we open for a motion?
Yes, sir, I will entertain.
I move we recommend to the Board of County Commissioners that we fund this project, $76,000, and that we recommend that we have a sustainable succession beginning with the next year.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Yeah, second for discussion, I'm
Okay.
sorry. And
So
I,
Mr. Reeves made the motion, Commissioner Bender seconded.
Yeah.
So discussion?
so, yeah, and so, Mr. Reeves, can you just clarify, is that, are we recommending that we do that out of our pocket, or that we're just making a recommendation to the
The
BOCC?
motion was to the county.
Okay, just to make sure.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Bender said that if we made a recommendation, he would support it on the commission.
Yes, sir.
So,
I
I
see
mean,
where-
that's where I was.
Yes, sir. I see where you landed. Okay.
Shirley,
what?
turn on your mic.
Why 76,000?
We've gone all around saying, keep in mind, if I want you to appropriate to me, I'm going to tell you that there's 4,000 people. Well, there may only be 2,500 people. So all I'm saying is, it looks like there was a missing 50, so 76 was something I took out of the air.
Okay, I appreciate that. No, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So just brief history on it. So 2 years ago, I think the board asked Visit to fund the 150 out of their budget. Was that right, Darren?
No, it was an allocation to Visit Pensacola to manage.
To manage, okay. So we gave 150 out of the fourth cent to Visit to manage. 75,000 went out in 2020, but did not, due to COVID, did not occur. And so Visit actually, I think, used some of that money to help offset their losses or help fill gaps in their budget. And so the other 75 was then paid for the 2021 festival. And in years past, there had been $150,000 allocation, and based on the conversations and where I had asked him, Cadillac, to go, and I think in some of the conversations he'd had with Darren, that 150 request dropped to 100. Is that accurate, Cadillac?
Yes, that's accurate. Yeah, we had that discussion, yes. I agree to that.
Well, so is there any other discussion?
I would like to say is, I'm also on the grant committee at Visit Pensacola, and everybody that comes for a grant is now told they can come for 5 years, and after the fifth, they can't come back for $10. They can't come back at all. And that's for Pensacon, the Interstate Fair. There's a lot of successful events. Pensacon brings in a lot of room nights to all of Pensacola, not just downtown Pensacola or the beach or wherever. And I think it's, for this board or the commissioner's board, it's not fair, because then what stops the next person from coming to the BOCC or to us, and then the next, and then the next, and then I think at some point in time, there has to be the same rules have to apply to everybody. So I see that the reason why Cadillac comes here is because the amount is a larger amount. But then that just means that everybody else could just come out and say, I want a larger amount, and I don't have to go to Visit Pensacola or ACE. I'll just go to the BOCC. So I think 5 years into the BOCC or bed tax dollars going to an event, at some point has to have some limitations, and the event should support itself, especially if it's a for-profit event that's actually making profit. Or then if we're going to fund the event, then at the back end of the event, we should get our money back. If we're going to continue to keep giving to an event that's continuing to get a profit at the end of, in my mind, all we're doing is profiting the event holder. We're just patting the bank for them. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We should be pushing events to help the events grow so that they do the purpose, put heads in beds. So that's my little piece that I think, not just our board, we don't have the money, Board of County Commissioners do, but I hope that something's done differently so that this doesn't keep continuing to happen.
And but one of the things I think we're also looking at trying to do is to where Visit Pensacola helps in the marketing of the events. And I would say the demographic that you're going for is probably one that we're also targeting. Because we want to be inclusive of everyone. I think we have something to offer for everyone. You know, we I think doubled the amount that we were given to the African American, not museum, but Heritage Society. You know, and so I'll just say, I mean, if it's 100,000 or 76,000, I would support both of them. You know, maybe if there's some needed, we could get Visit to help some with the advertising, or help for, I mean, I would say that I think they're here to be, at least I would like to have them be here as a resource, especially with something that we're moving so much money towards, to make sure that whatever you spend on it is you're getting your money's worth.
And just briefly before we wrap this up, I think with the right amount of sustainability and transparency to the taxpayer, I think this is one of the better events in Escambia County. But I do think we need to have a couple of thresholds for Escambia County taxpayers and for taxpayers coming outside, you know, coming from outside of Escambia County. But in order to make sure that this event is successful for everybody, including Cadillac, we're doing him a disservice if we continue to do this for him. You know what I mean? We have to do something to make sure that his model is sustainable. He said it of his own heart that he hopes that somebody can take this on after him. And with a good board of directors, there's no doubt that that'll happen. So I'm going to support it.
Any further discussion? Barring none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
So moved. You got the vote?
I'm done?
You're done. We'll make
Thank-
the recommendation to the county commission.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Bender, you'll take that?
Yeah, 76?
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to reorganize. I'd like to, next item on business on our agenda says the TDT Restricted Marketing Fund, but I'd like to bring up the Monument to Women Veterans first, so we can continue these requests before we get into that other discussion. Does anybody have an issue with that?
No.
No? All right. Michelle?
Since 1948, 2.8 million women have honorably served in the United States military.
There's a video.
We are
playing
the
in back.
Monument
I
to
don't know if y'all
Women
can see it.
Veterans.
It's on our screen. Well, it was on our screen right here in front of
No,
us.
just stopped.
It's right there in front of us.
Oh, somebody's got it.
Yeah.
Try that again.
While they're getting that ready, first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to come speak tonight. There are a lot of faces on this board that I know, and I do have to say, in the years that I have worked with TDC and in the hotel industry here, this is probably some of the smartest people I've seen on the TDC. People actually have a knowledge of the industry, and that means a lot to me, so thank you very much. What we're doing today and what we want to show you is we have some exciting news for this area of what we're building and what's been happening. The Monument to Women Veterans has had a successful relationship currently right now with the city of Pensacola. And we have currently established the Amtrak station as the Museum to Women Veterans. But we are expanding that and have also utilizing that building as a national visit center for veterans. So the goal that we are doing and putting together is that if you are a veteran, you're getting ready to get out of the military, all you need to do is come to Escambia County, and we will automatically connect you to your benefits. We have currently relationships with all the schools that are in our areas. We will have, you'll see in the presentation, if we don't get the video, maybe we'll go to the presentation. We're actually physically giving them a toolbox. So we have hired Dr. Eurysi Stanley, who is actually the TAPS director, that is your transition officer for the United States Army for the last 10 years. We have actually hired her in conjunction with the Center for Strategic Military Excellence to go around to bases and to tell them what about the programs that we currently have available in our area and how that we can connect them to their benefits immediately. In conjunction with that building, we are also doing a national training center for veterans, the Center for Strategic Military Excellence. As you know, right now, in your position before, our job was to do job creation. And now we have so much job creation and we have nobody to fill those spots. When we were at the legislative meeting just this last week at Pensacola State College, every single person that came up there asked them directly to address the shortage of jobs in their workforce. That's a problem across the board. I have tonight Everdeen Construction, who has been the master developer that actually opened an office in our area this last year during Sally. We have no laborers. Our subs are actually aging out. The city of Pensacola would like to build 500 houses in 5 years. We do not have the labor pool to make that happen, and nor do we have 500 people to purchase those homes. So what the Center for Strategic Military Excellence, the Monument to Women Veterans, and Everdeen Construction has proposed is that we bring returning veterans who are getting ready to get out of the military to our local area and connect them to their benefits and connect them to the educational programs that we currently have in our area, and also working with organizations and companies who just need certifications. Currently, right now, one of the programs that we'll be working with is with the Triumph Dollars. We have had a meeting already with Rick Harper about what this looks like. We've met with Jared on several occasions because that is in your backyard. And let me just say thank you for all your support that you've given us. It's amazing. Thank you. We've met with the other schools, and we're really not creating anything new. This program that we're going to utilize was actually created during Hurricane Michael. The Triumph Dollars were used for that program. And so we're not creating anything new. We're bringing diversity here. Currently, right now, if you want a job, you can get a job. For the labor, the skilled level, and that we need in our area, which is primarily construction, hospitality management, information technology, and health information systems. Those are our 4 big components. We will be recruiting the top caliber of people in the military to come to our area so that we can recruit that caliber of people. The other component to this, which is much bigger than all of this, is I want you to know how much money that you let go out of your area. And I hope that Mr. Reeves will agree with me on this number, but we currently in Escambia County lose anywhere between $55 million and $55 billion a year in 8-8 contracting, which is your government set-aside contracting in our local area. We allow other contractors from Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, South Florida to come and take those dollars. And so what we're talking about is the contractors out at the base. So we just had an example at Everdeen Construction just recently where Whiting Field had a contractor that they hired to put their shingles on their building. The contractor they brought in for that could not get his workers on the base. They did not have the credentials to get on the base. So we have these contractors coming into our area with $26 billion contracts, and we're not utilizing our own people in this area, and we're not recruiting people to be able to do that. Currently, right now, I am a service-connected disabled veteran with an 8-8 status. That means I can partner with any contract across the country and be able to go in. The city of Pensacola is a perfect example. They are minority status with the city of Pensacola, and I could apply utilizing my minority status to get any contract that is there. And that is the goal for us, to develop the pipeline of 8-8 contractors out of the recruits that we're bringing here, to fill those positions and create a pipeline of 8-8 contractors so that you will have veterans who will be the owners of those 8-8, putting other veterans to work, creating that labor pool. If you bring someone in the military here right now, they have a means of income of about $3,000 to $4,000 a month. They have the ability to go to vocational rehab and purchase, vocational rehab will purchase equipment for their business for them. They have money to buy a house. They have money to go to school to help build that house. So we come before you today telling you this is what we're doing. This is in the backyard. And we see one of the things that will be, as we move forward, be looking for some seed money, because part of our program of what we'll be doing will also be to offer a one-room night to a veteran. If they'd like to come to our area, we would offer them one-room night stay at a hotel. 9 times out of 10, if you give somebody one night stay, they'll stay 3 to 4. So we see going down the line, the TDC that ties in, there is no National Veterans Visit Center anywhere in the country. There is no national monument to women, 25% of the military, 2.8 million women veterans. Do we have the present? I know we can't get the link, but can we at least get the presentation? Oh, I think they said, hold on. It's supposed to be up here, I guess. I've pretty much walked you through it, but sometimes visual is better. Again, this is what we're looking at, and this is for all veterans, not just women veterans. This is for veterans across the board, male and female. Just some different information of what the technology looks like. The mission and goal for the Center for Strategic Military Excellence. There is no Center for Strategic Military Excellence anywhere in the country, and we will be bringing state-of-the-art technology in all levels of work performance, partnering with contractors, partnering with manufacturing companies who specify. We have Pella windows specifically. You have to be trained by Pella if you're going to put their windows in, and they're going to be making our site a training hub for that as well. So that'll just give us an opportunity to bring more contractors to our area and to bring bigger business to our area because of the people that we will have that are coming here. The benefits for the city of Pensacola, Escambia County, second to none. This talks a little bit about veterans in construction industry and what that really looks like and how they're leading the way in construction. We have a lot of veterans who really just want a certification program and just get a hammer and start going out and beating some stuff up, and we're happy to let them do that, right? So it just talks about one of the things I can tell you that the county and the city are both struggling with that we'll be addressing as well. It is by nature that women do not make as high as rate of pay in the city and the county, mainly because their technical skill levels, they just haven't been an opportunity where they could have that training. Part of what this will do will also be bringing women back with training that will actually transfer immediately over to our needs that we currently have in this area as well. So again, these are the areas that we know that we have a need in this area, and that we feel very much this is where the veterans want to come when they come back, and these are the gaps that we currently have in those areas. Again, the National Visit Center, we're so excited about this because I was originally stationed here in April of 1986. I know some of you weren't born, it's okay. You will look this good when you get to my age, I'm sure of it. And I am happy to say that 35 years to the date that I checked into NAS Pensacola, I cut the ribbon on the doors to the museum for women vets. Glory to God on that one. But currently right now, we're still losing 22 soldiers a day to suicide. Still. Having this National Visit Center for them to actually have somebody to go to. We have a retired guy, I just met him the other day. He was at the Civicon or whatever. He doesn't even know what he's going to do. You will take a vacation to Florida to figure your life out. You will take a trip to Escambia County that has the most beautiful beaches in the world, that has the best community to take care of you when you return. Again, this is just the museum. In case you haven't seen it, is the old Amtrak building. It does look a little different. I show you the top vision of this because we do want to add to this building. What we're looking at right now in this back section where you see the pointer, this is set to be an additional training center, which will hold about 155 people. And we currently do have the designs for that. Caldwell Architect firm was the original architect on record, and we did go back to them to actually have them do this. And as you can see, the conceptual plans are in here for as we move forward. And there are the financial records. I show Everdeen Construction. In the audience tonight is their VP of Sales and also their VP of Marketing. Gentlemen, do you want to say anything? Nope. They don't want to say anything good. As we move, I don't want to hold y'all up any more than we have to. I appreciate it. I do want to thank Everdeen Construction. Everdeen Construction is a philanthropic partner for the Monument to Women Veterans. They give a percentage of every roof that they do back to the Monument to Women Veterans and to any of the veteran programming that we do. And that is part of our sustainability, is partnering in philanthropy and not depending on grants. This is what we're most excited about. This is the toolbox that I referred to. And as you can see, we already have the city of Pensacola. We have Escambia County. I have you at right there at the front. And this toolbox, currently right now, we're looking for seed money to be able to go ahead and purchase 5,000 of these boxes. Inside this box will also be a place for your DD-214. If some of you, I know there's a couple that are vets, if we give a vet that toolbox, they will be 90 years old and go, get my DD-214 out of my file box. So we're going to give Escambia County an opportunity to go into every single household of every veteran getting ready to return from the military. And in that box, we'll have the things in Escambia County that we already offer to veterans. We have some of the state-of-the-art. People say, why haven't you already built that monument? We've been talking about it for 10 years. You know why? Because we have $55 million worth of programming that I developed in your backyard. You have a program at the prison center that's specifically delineated for vets called Stripes to Stars. It's our program. You know what else we did? The Monument to Women Veterans established a veterans subcommittee in every single nonprofit in this area. You know why? So we could get different money at the table. The money is here. We know these are the caliber of people that we want to bring back to our area. Most of all, they're the ones that deserve the ability to have that other chance to be able to lavish in what we actually have in this area. We bleed red, white, and blue. That's why I've been here since 1986. There is no better place to be. And to have the opportunity to be the seed that puts and facilitates this toolbox to go into people's hands is really quite priceless. We have also partnered, I know a lot of you all know Niels with KMed Data, who also has Vet CV. And where we do bring the physical toolbox to you, we have partnered with them because they bring the digital toolbox. This digital toolbox gives them an opportunity to keep all their records in. It also gives them an opportunity to store anything, their records, DD-214. And then we also have an opportunity for them to create their own resume, and there are over 6 million jobs. 6 million different companies who hire veterans that are connected to that Vet CV. And we are also currently working in negotiations with Ascension Health, West Florida, to actually be able to offer job boards to their companies to be able to reach more veterans for our local area. In conclusion, we're bringing the most amazing thing right here to Escambia County. We anticipate already that the Monument to Women Veterans in the museum will put over 4,000 room nights a year in the hotels. In conjunction with our training program, in conjunction with us being the only hub in the country, we anticipate double that. We have been good stewards, and we've been set to have many examples to have to go before us. And tonight, I don't ask you for money. I ask you to look at what we're doing and look to see where do we line up with the TDC. Because I know that the next meeting that I go to for the county commissioners or to anybody, they're going to be, how do we get more employees? How do we get more employees? I beg you, throw it at somebody who's going to create jobs for veterans and bring those caliber people back to our area, because guess what? Those are the people who created our area. I want to open the floor for any questions. I do want to say just quickly that Michelle Salzman has pushed HB Bill 2371 on the House side, and we are currently waiting. Senator Broxton has one going on the Senate side. We have talked again with Rick Harper in conjunction with the Triumph dollars and what that could look like for us to move forward, which was extremely positive. And then the last thing, that we now have a partnership with Visit Pensacola where we're donating the museum part to the military reunions so that there's no charge. So that'll make it more cost effective for them to come and stay in our area because they won't have to pay for a place to go. So currently right now, the museum, that's also going to be this National Visit Center, is going to have a place in there for the military reunions to actually utilize for free while they're staying here in our area. We feel like this plan is big. We understand that. We're building a campus. That's our goal, is to actually have a campus over there and expand what we actually currently already have in this area. And I open the floor for questions.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it. Any questions or comments from the?
What was the House bill number again?
HB 2371.
Perfect. All right, thank
It's
you.
a $259,000 appropriation
Yes, sir, it is.
request. Any other questions or comments? Councilman?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, first of all, yeah, thank you for your persistence with this and obviously your big vision. And,
Thank you, sir.
So obviously, there's a lot of components in there that are exciting and relevant for this community. I just wanted to be sure to understand, there's not a specific request today that we're considering. It's just you're presenting us with this so that as we
We're
move
presenting
forward-
with this. I mean, we'd love to leave with some seed money tonight or know that there's something coming. Of course, we'd be amiss not to say that. We are working with the city, but currently to date, we have done over $250,000 worth of work on the property currently right now. We haven't received any of that back, so I mean, we're always looking for seed money as we move forward. And I think that we definitely know what the military does bring to this area, and I hope that you will favor upon us. And if anybody has any suggestions or anything that we need to do, if you'll please let me know, I'd be honored to do that. And I really do appreciate your time, and I really appreciate the time you take to be on this board. Thank you.
Well, Michelle, I have a comment.
Yes, sir, I'm
Well, first I want to echo Councilman Moore's comments about your persistence and your hard work and all the planning and the work that's gone into this project. You have a lot going on. And as far as this board, this body is concerned, if you're going to come back to us with a request, excuse me, what I would recommend you do is consider how is this going to generate the tourism? How is it going to develop tourism? Because our job is to make recommendations for tourism development. And so to the county commission on how to spend the funds, and we select, I guess that's through our budget and through the outside agencies also. So putting your mind to how will
Well, I guess
all
I'd
of
refer
this
back to
project.
how does the Visit Center bring money to the table, and they're just one. And we're the only national visit center. So, I mean, I guess I missed on, I get what you're saying, but in the aspect of we would refer back to them and hopefully looking at moving forward with them as well.
Okay, well, and that would be great. So I do understand is there another center over in Okaloosa County also?
No, sir.
Women's Memorial?
No, sir. Actually, it's a difference, and it's not a memorial. We have a monument what actually recognizes 25% of active duty and the 2.8 million women who are actually alive in this country who actually honorably served. What they have in Okaloosa County, they're actually putting women around, recognizing women in military. So this is a national piece that's coming here. There is currently no monument anywhere in this country to recognize 25% of the military, which is women, and 2.8 million women vets, 3.5 million niche market that we have to market to. If you take a look just quickly, we had 30 military reunions last month. I know Shirley's remembers her days of her military reunion. We did 30. There are no women military reunions. We're creating a whole nother market right in our area for that, as well as providing space for the ones that are coming. So I guess knowing how much money the bases generate in our area and what veterans do for our community, we hope to move forward and have the information and whatever you feel like you need for that to move forward.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Michelle, I was going to thank you for your service. Thank you, and I know you do a lot of hard work, and I'm glad I got to catch up with you briefly the other day.
Thank you, sir.
But I'm hearing a couple different things, and so I want to try to. So I think when you talk about reunions and make a concerted effort to make us the capital of women veteran reunions, and I think that's something we can probably talk about here, because I would love to help support that and do that. On the other side, when we're talking about the job creation and that, I think you could look at our board for some money. You know, we do some economic development, especially when it comes to job training, out of the local option sales tax. But we usually follow that cycle of where you submit in like February for the following fiscal year. Let's maybe look at that and see how the Board of County Commissioners, through that program, might be able to do something and help train people. You know, I know that Commissioner May's doing the SOAR to Restore, where we realize that there is a need for skilled labor in this area. There may be some different forms for that side as well. So you've got a lot going on, which you know, thank you for all that you do, and we
Well,
want to
they're all
recognize
connected
that. So,
together.
yeah, they're all connected.
Because if a vet comes somewhere and he feels at home, then he needs to know that everything is here for him to be able to do that. And our goal would actually be to pre-sell homes so that we would know those veterans, that there'll be a place for them to actually get pre-qualified to actually purchase a home in Escambia County, and look forward to actually building that too. Mr. Bender, thank you so much for your time and your,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Reeves?
I just have one question, Michelle. What does one toolbox cost?
What does 2 blocks cost?
Toolbox.
Oh, the toolboxes are at about $25 a piece. That's for the box and for the labeling of putting Escambia County in the different places on there. And we're trying to get 500 of those boxes at $25 a piece.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Michelle? No? Great, thank you again for your time, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next agenda item is the TDT Restricted Marketing Fund Committee creation. So in the last couple of meetings, we've been requested by Unified Budget to consider creating an emergency marketing fund, and we've continued talking about it at these meetings, but you know, this isn't really a good use of time to discuss a creation of something like that. So what I'd like to do is create a committee to outside of this meeting to sit down and work out those details, decide if whether or not it's something that the county needs, to make the recommendation back to the TDC on creating an emergency fund, and things like what level of funding does it need to have, what would be a trigger to utilize those funds, how would it require like a supermajority vote from the county commission? Would it come through us as a recommendation to the county commission and then require the supermajority vote? Those types of things. I'm just using those as examples. And then how to, if those funds are used, what is the mechanism to then refill that fund? Another thought was not just an emergency marketing fund, but an operational fund. When we have items that are, not within the, they're not an outside agency, they're not, already allocated through the county's, special projects budget, et cetera, but a fund that is available for things like the Five Flags Speedway. That's an awesome opportunity for our county that pops up, and it hasn't been thought of during the budgeting process or any other time, where we could fund, create another operational fund that may have different standards than the emergency marketing fund, but they're also restricted, that have, maybe it only takes 3 votes from the county commission, but it comes through the TDC for recommendation, et cetera. So I'd like to, because I think that's really important for us to plan. I think we have a lot of things going on in the county. We talk about, what do we do with our Bay Center? What do we do? We've got we've got an audit going on. What is, how we're spending the money? Is it appropriate now? and how do we move forward spending it? And so I think this is just one of those other steps in moving forward and growing our community through tourism and development. So I'd like to appoint, if the committee is, if the council is open to this, I'd like to appoint Shirley to chair that if she's willing. And I'd like to also ask Tish to join that committee, and then have the 3 members of the unified budget, since they are 60% of the use of the funds, to work together to create a recommendation back to us that if we support, we recommend back to the council, to the commission. So if this council is open to that, that would be my recommendation. So if there's discussion, or I'll entertain a motion if.
I'll just, Allison said she couldn't be here. This popped up on her calendar, so the only thing she asked me to share is that it needs to be a sunshine committee.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just make sure everyone's aware of that. But look forward to the committees.
You don't think Shirley and Tish can?
I guess it doesn't matter, but where would they meet? Here? Since
It wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't think it would
It
matter.
would just have to be public.
It would just have to be noticed and
Noticed.
minutes kept and things like that, so.
Sounds good. I make a motion,
And
I make a
it's-
motion that we move forward with this project.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mary, second. So.
Hold on, I'm looking,
Further
Jim's
discussion.
looking, yeah, further discussion,
Yeah,
because I see
discussion.
Jim wants to discuss, and,
Mr. Reeves?
so,
Just-
motion to discuss.
I just think you should make sure that everybody get notice on the board so that
Yes.
it's not cliquish.
Yes, absolutely.
And just for whatever reason, I know that the Children's Trust has utilized this front table when they've had meetings to talk about things, when they've had a workshop or something. And so I think that could,
And that's exactly what this
Yeah.
is, a workshop, really.
yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure we could get that worked out if that or another room would be,
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Shirley, if we could just coordinate with county staff on,
Sure, so we
Calendar.
would do
Tina.
that through Tina? Okay, great.
So that would
She
go out,
runs
so
this
if we
place.
want to come and watch at least, we could come and watch. Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. Okay,
We would welcome it.
thank you, yeah, no problem. Okay, so yeah, I make a motion, we do that. Let's
so
do
we
this
have a
project.
motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is TDC Chair and Vice Chair elections. I think normally we have like pieces of paper we handwrite. I didn't even think about it until just this moment.
Do we need, to? We might not,
well, I mean,
do we need to?
I make a motion that David Baer and Ron Rivera retain their same positions and be chair and co-chair.
second.
Okay.
So we have a-
Nominations
We have
closed.
a motion, a second, and a third.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any discussion? I guess, are there any nominations from the floor? Mr. Reeves, did you just, oh, I thought you were turning on your light. Turning it on.
Thank you.
No nominations from the floor. That closes. So there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not, we'll call for the vote. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. Thank you for your double my pay. 2 times 0 is still 0. Okay, so that ends the business items on the agenda. The last item is meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, anything else you celebrate. Thank you.